All right. Yep. Well, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Friday story time is underway. I'm Jack Reed Jr. and here for Gumtree Bookstore. Another Friday, still sheltering in place, and today we've moved up to my office at the store where I'm looking out over Main Street in downtown Tupelo. Ginger is here, and Lily with her mask on, which I'll put back on once I leave, but he's taking care of it for me now. But it's a beautiful day here in Tupelo this Friday, and those of you that are watching the replay later on, I hope it's still good where you are when you are. Today we've got some great books that we've got that I'm excited about reading to you. I'll just kind of run through them here before we start. First one is Henry and Leo, with the beautiful paintings or illustrations by Pamela Zagorensky, who's a award-winning illustrator. Then we've got Ada Twist Scientist, which is a really cool book. And I know a lot of you children are doing some homework at home and doing some creative things. And this will be good. Then Ginger asked me to read this book today, I Know You Anywhere, My Love, and this is because of Ginger's request. And then if we have time, we're just going to take a few of the traditional Real Mother Goose nursery rhyme. We may not have time today. We may have to get to those next week. But I've got a little Henry and Leo soft little doll to help me read this book. So good morning, and let's start story time. Henry and Leo. This is the winner. Pamela Zagorensky is the winner of 2 Caldecott honors, which is the highest honor a children's illustrator can get. Henry and Leo by Pamela Zagorensky. Henry could never say exactly what it was that made Leo different. Perhaps it was his glass button eyes, which made him look as if he knew secret things. There they are. Or maybe it was his jointed and movable parts. I guess we can never really know what makes one particular toy more special than another, but from the moment Leo was given to Henry on his 2nd birthday, the two were inseparable. I bet some of you have a special toy or blanket or something that's special to you. And there they are. They're Henry and Leo all together. One Saturday afternoon, Papa said, let's go to the nearby woods for a walk. Hooray, said Henry. Leo loves the woods. How can Leo love anything, said Henry's sister. Leo is a stuffed toy, and toys aren't real. Sister not being that particularly sweet at the moment, is she? Henry let his sister believe what she wanted, but in his heart, he knew differently. And as they walked through the nearby woods, Henry could tell that Leo loved hearing the birds and finding the woodland animals as much as he did. There they are, talking in the beautiful golden woods. And I hope you've had time to get out somewhere sometime and take some walks and just enjoy nature. That's one of the best things about this spring is it's been just such a beautiful spring. This weather makes it nice. If we got to stay in, get a chance to walk and enjoy the birds and the flowers and the trees and just be thankful for what Mother Nature has given us this spring. The family walked until only a hint of the evening sun peered through the trees. We'd better start back, said Mama. Henry was tired, so Papa carried him. That's nice to be carried, isn't it? Remember being carried by your mom or daddy? And see this owl in the corner? We've got a beautiful owl in our neighborhood that we're lucky enough to see in the woods sometime, and people are just so excited whenever we see that owl in the trees around our neighborhood. When they reached home, Henry woke just as Papa turned out the light. Immediately, Henry realized something was wrong. Papa, where's Leo? Henry and his family searched high and low, inside and out. but Leo was nowhere to be found. Have you ever gotten ready to go to bed and you can't find your favorite toy? You can't find your favorite blanket? I know that's happened at our house before, and it's pretty serious. We'll look again first thing in the morning, Papa promised. But Leo will want to come home tonight, said Henry. We must leave a light on for him. Leo will be scared, Henry told his mother. Henry, Leo is not real. He is real only in your imagination, said Mama. Why don't we imagine Leo tucked into a safe place? In the morning, we will go back to the nearby wood and find him. His mother's trying to make him feel better. Henry knew that his family just didn't understand what it truly meant to be real. To Henry, Leo was as real as his mother, his father, and his sister. As real as a tree, a cloud, the sun, the moon, the stars, and the wind. As real as a flower, a bee, a bird, a fox, a pebble, a brook, an ocean, or a whale. Leo was his best friend, like a brother. They loved each other. They took care of each other. That's real. There's Henry in his bed, just worried about Leo. And look, where's Leo? See him? He's in the woods, isn't he? There's a big moon, a bear, and a fox. Ooh, the other animals now. They're exploring, looking around. Ah, here they come up to play. There's the rabbit and the fox. See the owl up in the corner, the big bear. That's what happens in the woods at night. When we go to sleep, animals come alive and wake up at night in the woods, and then they're having all of their time. And there they are, still together in the woods. With the first hint of daylight, Papa, Mama, Henry, and his sister once again searched for Leo. At first, they saw nothing. But then, they are searching. Leo! Henry shouted. There he was, back home. How did he get there? Thank goodness, said Mama. But I looked in that very spot last night, said Henry's sister. That's strange, said Papa. I'm positive I looked there too. You found home, said Henry. I love you, Leo. And so what happened? Those animals in the woods helped Leo find home. They walked home with him. The bear and the owl and the fox. I love you too, Henry. And there's friends, the animals, going back into the woods after they had helped Leo find home. Is that a happy story? What beautiful illustrations, too. Well, you can tell why that story won a lot of awards. Henry and Leo. Leo, good job. Good job. Take care of Henry. All right. Our next book is called Ada Twist, Scientist. And this is a little girl who's a scientist. And, there can be girl scientists, just like boy scientists. And this is a good story that I've read once before that I think you will like. Ada Twist, Scientist by Andrea Beatty, illustrated by David Roberts. What do you think, Ginger? Ada Marie, said not a word till the day she turned 3. She bounced in her crib and looked all around, observing the world but not making a sound. She learned how to climb and made her big break, with a trail of chaos left in her wake. She ran through the day, chasing each sound and sight, and didn't slow down till she conked out at night. There she is, at 3, learning to get out of the crib and go around. There's her brother, I bet. Those little tiger pajamas. Her parents were frazzled, but tried not to freak as Ada grew bigger and still did not speak. Clearly young Ada, with lots in her head, would have something to say when it ought to be said. There, her parents, they've got the ABC books they've been reading to her, but Ada's still not saying anything. They're worried, well, she's not talking yet. I'm worried about that. No, none of you parents have ever worried about how quickly your children are going to start talking. That's just what happened when Ada turned 3. She tore through the house on a fact-finding spree and climbed up the clock just as high as she could. Her parents yelled, "Stop!" as all good parents would. Ada's chin quivered, but she did not cry. She took a deep breath and she simply asked, "Why?" And there she is, up on the clock. And her parents and her brother, what's happening with this girl? And so then she just starts asking why about everything. Why does it tick and why does it talk? Why don't we call it a granddaughter clock? Why are there pointy things stuck to a rose? Why are there hairs up inside your nose? She started with why and then what, how, and when. By bedtime, she came back to why once again. She drifted to sleep as her dazed parents smiled at the curious thoughts of their curious child who wanted to know what the world was about. They kissed her and whispered, "You'll figure it out." There's Ada just asking all these questions. You know somebody that just asks questions, why this, why that, when, how? Her parents kept up with their high-flying kid, whose questions and chaos both grew as she did. Why does it? How does it? Why won't it? When will it? Will it be the same? What if? Why? Will it? When? What? Here she's drawing pictures of all the planets. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Earth, Saturn, Neptune. And she's looking at a turtle, wants to know all about animals, why they do this, why they do that. Even Miss Greer found her hands were quite full when Ada's chaos wreaked havoc at school. But this much was clear about Miss Ada Twist. She had all the traits of a great scientist. And there she is blowing up some bottles of some explosions of something of color in her classroom. We need good scientists today, don't we? Working to make sure we get rid of this virus as quick as we can. And scientists are probably the most important people we've got thinking for us right now, with the doctors and all the nurses and all the other people that are helping out there. Maybe this would be a good time before we don't forget. Every week, we clap for all the people at the hospital and all the people in the grocery stores and everybody that has to go to work to make us feel better. So join me now. Let's clap for all the people that help us. Wow, let's go. All right. And by the way, Reed's is coming out with an ad in the newspaper this Sunday in the Daily Journal. I hope you'll see it, where our staff is all saying thanks to all the helpers out there. All right, so let's get back to Ada. Ada was busy that first day of spring, testing the sounds that made mockingbirds sing. With a horrible stench whacked her right in the nose, a pungent aroma that curled up her toes. "Zowie!" said Ada, which got her thinking, what is the source of that terrible stinking? How does a nose know where there's something to smell? And does it still stink if there's no nose to tell? She rattled off questions and tapped on her chin. She'd start at the start, where she ought to begin. A mystery, a riddle, a puzzle, a quest. This was the moment that Ada loved best. There goes her brother off to play tennis while she's still just thinking and wondering, trying to figure things out. Ada did research to learn all she could of smelling and smells, both the stinky and good. One hypothesis Ada thought could be true. The terrible stink came from Dad's cabbage stew. She tested and tested, but soon Ada knew it was time to come up with hypothesis 2. There she is. It looks like she's got a hose that she's breathing through, trying to figure out these different smells. Then, zowie! The stink struck again, just like that. hypothesis two, it's caused by the cat. The cat couldn't make such a stink on its own. It needed perfume and some fancy cologne. So young Ada tested. The test was a flop. She started again, but her parents yelled, "Stop!" What are they stopping her from doing? Can you see? She was going to put the cat in the washing machine. Not a good idea, Ada. Not a good idea. Ada Marie, to the thinking chair now. By the time we count three. Enough, said her mother. That's it, said her dad. Her parents were frustrated, frazzled, and mad. Why? Ada questioned. Her mother said, no. What? Ada queried. Her father said, go. You've ruined our supper. You've made the cat stink. Enough with your questions. Now sit there and think. She looked at her parents. Her heart turned to goo. Poor Ada Twist didn't know what to do. Well, they're sitting in a kind of what they call timeout, which is the thinking chair. She sat all alone by herself in the hall, and Ada once more could say nothing at all. There she is, all by herself in timeout. So Ada sat, and she sat, and she sat. And she thought about science and the stew and the cat, and how her experiments made such a mess. Does it have to be so? Is that part of success? Are messes a problem? And while she was thinking, what was the source of that terrible stinking? Ada Marie did what scientists do. She asked a small question, and then she asked two. And each of those led her to three questions more, and some of those questions resulted in four. As Ada got thinking, she really dug in. She scribbled her questions and tapped on her chin. She started at why, and then what, how, and when. At the end of the hall, she reached why once again. And here she is doing her computations, trying to write down what her thoughts are leading her to. Her parents calmed down, and they came back to talk. They looked at the hallway and just had to gawk. No patch of bare paint could be seen on the wall. The thinking chair now was the great thinking hall. They watched their young daughter and sighed as they did. What would they do with this curious kid who wanted to know what the world was about? They smiled and whispered, we'll figure it out. Look at the wall with all of those concentration questions she was asking herself. Why? What equals what? And what do fish? How do fish do? How do you think? Can you see some of those scientific questions she was asking herself? And that's what they did, because that's what you do when your kid has a passion and a heart that is true. They remade their world. Now they're all in the act of helping young Ada sort fiction from fact. She asked lots of questions. How could she resist? It's all in the heart of a young scientist. So now her parents said rather than just leave her by herself, they're just going to become helpers to help Ada find out some of the answers that she's so curious about. That's what good parents do, don't they? They will let you do what you want to do if it's something healthy to do. And as for the smell, what can Ada Twist do but learn all she can with her friends in grade 2? Will they discover the stink that curls toes? Well, that is the question. And someday, who knows? So there she is at the end with her friends, and she's still asking the questions, and maybe her friends will help her. Maybe her friends will be scientists too, just like she is. The end. Ada Twist, Scientist. Do you like that book? Well, that's a great book. You know, some people love to play basketball, but some people love to ask questions and be scientists too. I remember I had a chemistry set once when I was little, and it had a small amount of gunpowder in it, which I proceeded to explode in the basement of our house. And I'm not sure if I went to timeout for that or not, but I probably deserved to. All right.
There he is.
All right. I Know You Anywhere, My Love. Now, this is the book that Junior asked about. I Know You Anywhere, My Love by Nancy Tillman. These are great books. We've read one of these once before, but I got a request to do another one, so I thought we would do that. This is about you. When I'm reading this book, you think about you. There are things about you quite unlike any other, things always known by your father or mother, So if you decide to be different one day, no worries, I'd know you anyway. If one day we're walking and talking just us, when you're abracadabra, a rhinoceros, I might be surprised, but just for a while, I know it was you by your magical smile. So there, all of a sudden, the child becomes a rhinoceros, but the mother still recognizes it. If early one morning you put on your socks and declare for today, I'm a little red fox, I'd say, my, that is quite a disguise. But I'd know it was you by the gleam in your eyes. What a beautiful painting. There she is, holding the fox, which is still her child. If you were a camel, I'd know by your grin. Let me see your grin. Let's have a smiling contest. Ready? All right. Now smile at whoever you're with. I'll smile at Ginger. Smiles are contagious. Smiles are wonderful. Actually, Mr. Jack and his wife, Miss Lisa, got to go to Egypt last year, and we got to ride a camel right in front of the pyramid. It was really fun. I hope you get to do that one day. Little pink pig, your chinny chin chin. Okay. White snowy owl, among other things. I know by the flap of your snowy owl wings. Would you mind flapping them? Can you say, woo? Yes, without question. I know it was you. Beautiful snow owl. We don't have the snowy owls in Tupelo, but we do have those beautiful owls we talked about a few minutes ago. My eyes and my ears and my arms always know from the top of your head to your tiniest toe. Wild spotted pony, easy my sweet. I know it was you by the sound of your feet. You think your mama or daddy or grandparents or brothers or sisters know it's you just by the sound of your feet when you're coming down the stairs or into the room? I bet they do. We all have that own special sound. If you were a bear cub, whoa, that bear. Ginger, there's a lot of your friends in the animal world, aren't there? I'd know by your nose. There's the bear cub riding a bicycle. Riding a bicycle is fun. That's one of the safe things you can do these days, too. Ringtail raccoon. 3 raccoons, you see him? Your clever tiptoes. See the big toes, these raccoons? Have you ever seen a raccoon up close? They got their toes and their claws they can climb anything, go almost anywhere. Blue-footed booby, I know at first glance by your wonderful, one-of-a-kind happy dance. Ha. You like to dance? I love to dance. It's a good time to dance. Put some music on and just dance, or just dance without the music. And if one fine day you get bored and you said, today I'm not me, I'm a lion instead, even if I'd never heard it before, I know it was you by the sound of your roar. Would you mind roaring a second or two? See, without question, I know it was you. Can you roar? Roar! Roar! Well, I know it's your roar. I know you by heart, so my heart never misses. I'd even know you by your whiskery kisses. And Ginger, there you are, by your whiskery kisses. What do you think? Are you enjoying this book as much as you thought you would? I hope so. Fox or koala, giraffe or raccoon, anything, anywhere under the moon, whatever it is you imagine to be, I'll just be so proud you belong to me. I'll kiss every whisker and smooth every hair, because, child of mine, I know you anywhere. And there you are. I know you anywhere. Well, isn't that a sweet book? You are loved. That's the last page of all this series of books by Nancy Tillman. You are loved. You are loved. You are loved. All right, we got about 5 more minutes. One thing I want to say before we go too is that even though Reed's is closed and we're going to open back up pretty soon, but we're still trying to do our part by staying closed so we can stop the spread of this virus. But we are going to have, and we do have, our gift certificates on sale through our online or social media. So if you want to do something for high school graduates, or you just want to support the store while we're closed, to buy some gift certificates for use for clothes later on when we open up, we would be delighted to have that opportunity to serve you, and then we'll get those gift certificates, gift cards distributed, and maybe even for Mother's Day. We hopefully will be open a little bit by then anyway, but at least curbside or delivery. But if you are interested in, like I said, graduation or anything, we certainly are still, you can still order gift certificates for Reed's, and that would help us while we're closed. So could even use them for books. If somebody wanted to get some books. All right, let's just pick a few real Mother Goose poems. This book is over 75 years old. That's even older than Mr. Jack. And I remember, of course, having these read to me when I was a little boy and reading to our children and reading them to our grandchildren. So we'll just pick through here until we run out of time and just read some of the best ones. Little Bo Peep. There she is. That's the first one. Little Bo Peep has lost her sheep and can't tell where to find them. Leave them alone and they'll come home and bring their tails behind them. Little Bo Peep fell fast asleep and dreamt she heard them bleating. But when she awoke, she found it a joke, for still they are fleeting. Then up she took her little crook, determined for to find them. She found them indeed, but it made her heart bleed, for they'd left all their tails behind them. It happened one day as Bo Peep did stray into a meadow hard by, that she spied their tails side by side, all hung on a tree to dry. She heaved a sigh and wiped her eye, and over the hillock she raced, and tried what she could, as the shepherdess should, that each tail should be properly placed. Who would have thought that? Little Boy Blue. Little Boy Blue. There he is. That's actually Little Boy Blue right there. Little Boy Blue, come blow your horn. The sheep's in the meadow, the cow's in the corn. Where's the little boy that looks after the sheep? He's under the haystack, fast asleep. This is a short poem. Somebody asked if you can quote a poem. This might be one you want to use. Rain, rain, go away. Come again another day. Little Johnny wants to play. It's about as short a poem as there is in this book, I think. All right. Patty cake. Here you go. There's the baker man. You know this one? Patty cake, baker's man. So I do, master, as fast as I can. Pat it and prick it and mark it with a T and put it in the oven for Tommy and me. Oh, that's a little girl that's saying the poem. There's Tommy. There's the baker man right there. All right, here's a poem that I bet some of you parents still say after all these years, because it's helpful. 30 days hath September. 30 days hath September, April, June, and November. February has 28 alone. All the rest have 31. Excepting leap year, that's the time when February's days are 29. You know, this is a leap year. We just had February 29th not too long ago, and I still hope that 2020 will be a really good year once we come out of this, and maybe we'll have learned a little more about how to get along and make sure that we learn the value financially of all the people that are still working out there and understand what people need to be able to take care of themselves. Maybe we'll come out of this as a country a lot better, with a sense of togetherness and not so polarized politically and otherwise. Maybe 2020 will still be a year that we look back on as a good year after the sadness of the virus. All right, here's probably one of my favorite poems in the book because there's a little boy jumping over a candlestick. You know what his name is? That's right, Jack. Jack be nimble, Jack be quick. Jack jump over the candlestick. I think we got 2 more minutes. Let's see. All right, how about Wee Willie Winkie? Wee Willie Winkie runs to the town, upstairs and downstairs, in his nightgown, rapping at the window, crying through the lock. Are the children in their beds? Now it's 8 o'clock. And there's Wee Willie Winkie. You think that's a good one to stop on? All right. Well, we'll do some other nursery rhymes another day, but thank you for being a part of my Friday morning. It's nice to get together with y'all. It's nice for us at Reads to be able to keep in touch with you and keep looking at our Facebook page, our Instagram, and the newspaper. We'll try to let you know as soon as we get back operating in as safe a way as we can, that's safe for our staff and our customers and for our community. But until then, take care, wear your mask when you go out. Got mine here. And take care of each other and love each other and be kind to each other. And we'll all get through this together. So until next week, see you later. Bye-bye.